Oh my goodness, what's going on, people? How is everybody doing today? Sorry I'm late. Technical difficulties. As you see, I'm still in the same place. I have not moved yet. Okay, let's mic check. Okay. Sorry guys. Having technical difficulties all of a sudden, but I think I got it fixed up. Hopefully it doesn't kick my camera off again. What's going on? How's everybody doing? I got to bring up these. I was going to react. I'll bring that up in a little bit. How are you guys doing? B, Miss Keen, got my decaf latte. I'm ready. What time is it where you're at? How are you? Sorry about that. And I hate that because now the live, you got to skip through it when you start. I like to have it start right how it's supposed to. But it is 14 people. What the heck is going on? There's so many of you guys in here. Don't be a ninja watcher. Say hello. I think this is going to be a good one. We have some things to react to. This episode is brought to you by Tusker Cider. I'm drinking like I'm a lady today because I don't feel like drinking a beer. But what's up? What is going on? We're going to talk about scamming. I think it's your fault if you get scammed here. Honestly, I do. And we're going to talk about all the mistakes people make and kind of how I move. And I've never been scammed. And we're going to talk about overcharging. That's probably the biggest thing I see people complain about. And I think y'all need to stop complaining about it. I say some of y'all are acting like, oh, it hurts my feelings when everyone tries to charge me too much. Stop crying, okay? We're going to talk about it. Got to give you the right mindset for some of this stuff because I know a lot of you guys are coming out here. Mambo Freedom, Polsana. That Tagoni video was fire. The Tagoni video is my favorite video. I don't care what the numbers do. It's my favorite video. It's behind in the numbers. And now there's all these people talking about the politics of the land and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. Anytime we get involved with land, there's an interesting discussion about like, I don't get it because someone will say something like, oh, well, they shouldn't sell it. They shouldn't be selling the land. But if they're not making any money and can't afford the place, then I don't like if someone comes in and farms the land or does whatever. I don't know. I just some of the stuff doesn't make sense because on one end they want people to come and invest, and then on the other hand they don't want you to be able to buy anything. So I don't really get it. I'm trying to learn. I've done a lot of research on the land, but sorry guys, I had everything planned out and now I'm a little behind because of the technical difficulties. But see Griffin, what's going on? How are you? Member Freedom, member KO, what's going on? He's not a member. That's okay. Guys, you should join the membership. There's like 14 videos in there that are early access that are releasing this month. And as soon as I get off of here, I'm uploading another video about probably the nicest off-plan development as far as like the finish quality and the build quality that I've seen so far. There are some other projects that I think will also be good, but so far that's probably the best one. Prince Travels, what's up? What's going on, man? How are you? We're going to have a fun time. Sorry, guys, I'm a little off because I had everything planned and everything crashed. I had to bring it back up. I still got to bring up the reaction video that we want to get. Oh, no, we don't want that. Here, let me bring that up before we get started. One of my favorite YouTubers came out with a video like an hour ago. I wanted to react to it. Hold on. Oh, we don't want to bring it up yet. Okay. Bam. Cool. Got that. So let's talk about, because the reason why I want to talk about scamming is because, first of all, I've never been scammed. I don't think I've even been close to being scammed. But I do get a lot of weird inquiries, especially now that some of the videos are dropping almost every day. Every couple of days, people are offering things, investment opportunities. And like, it's pretty obvious to me, like, even though some of them aren't scams, I think some of the people just don't know how to pitch an investment. Plus, how are you pitching me an investment? Your Instagram page got one picture of you and your face is cut off. Like, these are the people that people are trying to do investments with because they're just selling them a dream. And I think that's because a lot of Black Americans are coming here with a really romanticized view of Kenya. And I think it doesn't serve them well. Plus, they're leaving racism and the politics in the country, and they're coming here and they think they're going to be like embraced as a long lost brother or cousin or something, and that's really not how things work. Richest method, subscribers only mode. What's with this, man? You are learning YouTube way too fast. Yeah, because something people like if you want to come and troll, at least be a subscriber, you know, because we got some of them people, but their pride won't let them hit subscribe, so they won't come in. You're looking through this with rose-colored glasses. Yeah, so this is from all the YouTube that I watch. I do a lot of research to see what other people are doing, and I noticed that the overcharging crushes people's heart for some reason, and oh, the scamming. I think I don't know how you get scammed. It's very obvious, you know, and also, and this is why the thumbnail says you're going too fast, is that people are rushing, and you need to realize you don't know anything. You're basically a baby. Like, you know how you learn adulting and how to like write a check and set up your bank account and you know do your pay your taxes and all that stuff. Well, guess what? You have to wipe all the stuff that you know and relearn everything. And then the thing is, you have to relearn it from people in another country with a different culture. And not everyone has the best intentions. So, how do you learn all this stuff? And then, especially here in Kenya, or probably mostly on the continent, what you will Google or what you will research isn't reflected on the ground exactly. So the rules may be this way, but the customs are a different way and how things actually work. And so you have to be able to move in between those things. Meanwhile, you don't know anything. So it is challenging, but I think people just don't research or try to understand. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna dive into it. Do you have to be a Kenyan citizen to buy property? So the word buy is important actually because if you're not a Kenyan citizen, you can buy property on a leasehold title, which is up to 99 years. There's an extra legal cost of converting if it's freehold land, meaning it's like true ownership, into a leasehold. Now, when you have leasehold, technically at the end of the 99 years, you're able to pay to renew it with the government and the renewal fee. And this is a video that Arvin from Pam Golding, who took us to Tigoni, who's an agent in that region, was kind of talking about. If you were in members, you might have already seen that video. And he explains um, land rates or property taxes and then the leasehold renewal. Now, this kind of goes to my whole point about how you guys should be moving here is that that's one person I spoke to. But when you come here to Kenya, what you need to do, if you're not just, even if you're visiting, actually, you probably should still do this. But if you intend to try to live here, either part-time or full-time, you need a network of people to ask the same question. So there's a bunch of different activities that I'm doing that first are bigger sums of money, so the risk is higher. So you could, if you mess up, you can lose a lot of money. For example, buying property or buying a car, which is another thing that I'm working on this week. Um, and people are, I see some comments like, why didn't you buy a house? Why didn't you buy land? Why don't you build a house? You guys need to slow down. This is my whole point. It's like, sure, I love the idea of having an estate and a compound and having a bigger house. There's a lot of information and things that you need to understand about buying land and building. Building in the United States is hard. Flipping a house is hard. Hiring contractors is hard. I've had contractors walk off of jobs that I've lost plenty of money dealing with contractors. Um, Hidden repairs. There's all kinds of things that, and then if you don't have, and I have 15 years of real estate experience in the United States and construction and flipping and rehabbing properties and renting properties and property management and real estate sales and deed and title issues and legal challenges with real estate. So I have that background from the United States that at least I can have some context here. But there's people like there's a lot of Black Americans that aren't financially well off and trying to come here, and then they're talking about buying land and building houses and all this dreamy romantic stuff. You guys didn't know how to do it in the States. You think you're going to come here and just meet somebody off the street and buy land? It's crazy. So anyway, back to answering the question a little bit is you could do a 99-year lease, but what you can't Google is that there are ways to have entities, whether it's a trust or a business, and this is why you need a good lawyer to create some kind of entity that would be considered a local entity that you could purchase property freehold, meaning you don't have a leasehold issue. And what I was saying to that also, though, was that the leasehold renewal is speculative. So I don't know the impact of it yet. I've spoken to a good amount of people about renewing leasehold, but I'm still not convinced by what everyone's saying. And that's why you guys need to go slow and you need to build a network, because you can't just ask one person something, even if they're a lawyer or whatever. Like for me, right? One of my goals here is to find a lawyer that I can use for lots of different things, right? But lawyers have different practices, so you have to be careful about that. But I'm not just going to talk to the first lawyer and just hire them because they sound good. Even if they come from a referral, I'm going to talk to 3, 4, 5 different ones, and then maybe I give them small tasks and see how that goes. And then maybe I'll do some larger tasks. And so I think a lot of people are just jumping out the window, coming out here, and the special thing that Black Americans have is this thing like, oh, they're my brother, they're my former ancestors, and they would never do anything. And it's like, that's just not realistic. Are your apartments in leasehold or freehold? B, so the apartments, and why I recommend, like, if you want to get into real estate here, I like the off plan because, first of all, the contracts and everything and the purchase process is much more straightforward, and you don't deal with this freehold leasehold thing directly. So the thing that you need to know about buying off plan here in Kenya is that these developers are buying the property, and most of the land in Nairobi is leasehold. But if I buy a leasehold property from someone else, it might have less years on it. So there's some developments that are for sale, like in Westlands, that have only like 30 years left on the leasehold. And like I talked about, there's speculation on being able to renew the leasehold, but what if the government doesn't allow you to renew? There's issues with that, right? So when you're buying a unit at an apartment, there is a master deed. Basically, the developer, when they first purchase the property, there's a deed, and then you have a sectional title to your unit. So if this is the main deed, there's all these little sectional titles within it, but they're all beholden to whatever's on the main title. And this is from my understanding. I'm not a lawyer. You do your own research, talk to whoever you need to talk to, but this is my understanding that I feel pretty comfortable about. Again, because I've had these conversations a million times, especially conversations with lawyers. I haven't put content out about that because, one, I got to vet the information. 2, I got to vet the people. 3, everyone's shy to be on camera. So I've had a lot of these conversations, and I look for information to match between multiple people before I kind of absorb the information. So generally, everything that you buy is on leasehold, but it's kind of expected that you would be the HOA, basically, the management or the HOA after you purchase the property is kind of runs the building. And so it would be on them to do the renewal on the leasehold of the whole apartment building. So yeah, if the government wanted to take the property back and didn't allow a renewal, it would be a disaster. But basically everything's leasehold. But your sectional title, it is a subtitle basically of the master deed to the property. Freedom. Some of this is just common sense stuff. I feel like if you get scammed, you basically ask for it. In general, or I mean, don't come here and just try to buy land. You don't know nothing, right? Like, you need again, you need to talk to 5 lawyers. You need to know some real estate people. You need to know at least enough to understand what everyone's talking about. If you watched the Tagoni video, um, there's, oh, well, see, there's a couple of videos in Tagoni. One that's coming out later, Arvin talks about the whole purchase process. And again, this is just one person, but there's a lot of due diligence. You need a surveyor. There's all these things. Where are you going to find these people? How are they trustworthy? You got to vet all that information. So don't come here and just jump out the window and try to do stuff. You're moving too fast. With the TLC song, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. How does someone prepare to be an expat in Kenya? Is there that much hurdles? I don't think there's a lot of hurdles. I just think people are trying to do too much too fast. For example, people land day one and want to like apply for residency. Well, why don't you just like take a minute, stay on the ETA visa, stay for 3 months, maybe leave for a certain amount of time, visit somewhere else on the continent, come back. If you're still having a good experience while you're doing that, interview attorneys, ask expats, ask other people, see who's done a good job, who got residency. Let me talk to them. Let me talk to their lawyer. Even though if they did it successfully, I still want to cross-reference that. I think the finances is a big thing. People come and they don't have a source of income and they think they're going to sell t-shirts or something. I don't know what they're doing. That's not going to work. So you need a way to have income. And again, if you weren't successfully running a business in the United States, how are you going to go to a foreign country and run a successful business? Business is hard anywhere. And so if you don't know what you're doing, don't make too many assumptions about the success that you're going to have in business. Like, for example, I wanted to measure the property that I bought because I was investigating on buying furniture. Did I want to do it myself? Did I want to get a designer? Do I want to go get stuff custom made? Do I want to just buy from the mall, which would be easier? But then I want to get the benefit of getting really cool custom furniture. Like this couch is probably customized from someplace, right? And it's nice and sturdy, nice. Like you just, oh, so I'm like, where do I get a tape measure from? You know, like I had to ask, right? And yeah, it's at Care 4 where I got one, but I'm like, okay, and okay, you guys see my stuff about the grout, right? If I was at home, I'd go to Home Depot and buy all the stuff I need to do the grout and just do it real easily. But I don't, where do I get the grout from? Is there different quality levels? Who makes the best grout? Then I need like a razor knife. I need a bucket. I need hopefully a grout knife to be able to scrape out the grout. Where do I get these tools from? I don't know. So I have to do research on the simplest things. So you just got to take your time and move slow. And if you're trying to do everything all at once, it can become overwhelming and you're going to run into issues. And obviously you're not going to get scammed trying to buy a tape measure unless, I don't know, like, I don't know what you're doing, but simple things can be challenging. So, but I find it very stimulating and I enjoy um, understanding these things. And this is how you can walk into a business or find a business opportunity. Because, for example, I think a one-stop shop to be able to buy a lot of building supplies is good. But then I wonder, do people need that service here? Because just because it works in the US doesn't mean it's going to work here. So this is what this like, okay, so I have that one idea. Now I'm spending money getting a warehouse and trying to open my own version of Home Depot. Well, you haven't done the market research. Maybe people don't mind shopping at 3 or 4 different stores to get the different tools and the different fixtures and everything. Maybe it's not worth the price premium that you may have to charge. So that's kind of my point, is like you just got to take your time. And the biggest thing is to build a network of people that you can ask things and test them and see if it works, cross-reference it against what other people are saying. Comments. You fell for the Tusker propaganda, Cy. White cap. Yeah, but so there's only a limited amount at my apartment. There's a little quick mart here, so I just buy whatever's here. I do like White Cap beer better than Tusker, but the Tusker cider's fine. Rich's method. My biggest view of idiot movement is by people buying land or any other property without even going to an entire other country. Common sense is not so common. The U.S. Army was right. Yep. How does a person idiot-proof the rest of the world? Exactly. Freedom. Member, by the way, I'd like to know what Americans use to escrow do when buying property. We have something called a title company, and they're only so they sell you insurance that the title of the property has no clouds or claims against it, and if there are, they would cover the cost of whatever you have to do as far if your deed or title is damaged. They also obviously they do the title search and make sure. I think you guys have something called a green card, which shows the chain of title. They basically look at all the chain of title and make sure everything is clear. There's no mortgages, there's no liens, there's no claims against it. And so if the chain of title is broken, they have to figure out what's wrong with it. It has to get fixed before you would be able to take possession. The other thing is sometimes people will use attorneys. And I think the thing with attorneys in the US is the accountability, the bar. I think there's a bar exam here though in Kenya. But I mean, if an attorney stole from you, they have to have insurance. Like an attorney's pretty much not going to scam you. Sorry, I got a cough somehow. But an attorney is not going to scam you on like a real estate transaction. And there's special bank accounts for escrow that these companies have. So the bank kind of audits them, and they can get seized, I guess, by the bank or the government because the money in there is tied to the contracts. So there's a lot of protections. I think payoff, the issue is most of these people have never ever done things they're talking about, even where they live. Yeah, I mean, it's a big problem. Who in their right mind just sees a video online and sent money to another country to buy land, property, and have never set foot in the other country? There's people that do it. I've done some consultations, and I'm really worried for these guys. They're buying properties remotely, and they've never been to the country. I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, if you have a lot of money, that's fine. I don't think it's really an issue of scamming, especially with off-plan stuff. Although, like, who are they working with? And then you don't have an advocate on the ground for you, so you're getting videos of updates, but I mean, video doesn't really show you everything, even if they were trying to. Video doesn't convey everything. So I think that stuff is risky, and I try to tell them that you should at least, I would be comfortable. I would buy from developers I bought from before remotely if I wasn't in country and feel comfortable. But I've been here for a while, and I have some sort of relationships with some of the developers, and I've seen a lot of their past projects, and I have experience with working with them, so it's a little different. That's what I'm talking about, not to nitpick, but that question about apartment lease or freehold, if that person had bought a condo, even in the U.S., they should know it's a deed of the building that they own. Well, I mean, you can't assume things work like the U.S., but actually, most of the laws here that I encounter with real estate so far have been like the contracts for purchase for the off-plan stuff is plainly understandable and is very similar if you bought real estate in the U.S., to be honest. C. Griffin, member, prior to purchasing, where can you confirm the remaining leasehold years? So the process with the off-plan stuff, and actually I think the land even works this way, you will put an initial deposit, maybe it's $1,000, $2,000, it's negotiable. And with off-plan, that's refundable. Even with the land, it should be refundable, but again, Just because something is refundable don't mean you're getting refunded, although many people are comfortable with it. At that point, they would work on getting you an agreement of sale, and you can go back and forth on terms. At the same time, you can ask for the due diligence package, and you should get all those documents, like the approvals for all the building designs and change of use and all that kind of stuff. Plus, you should get a copy of what the deed is looking like. Most people are going to have an attorney do this, but honestly, that due diligence package, they already have it, so they could just send it to you. You don't need an attorney to like do their own research on it, but you can if you're skeptical of the developer. I'm a big advocate of buying from reputable developers and doing research on the developer, making sure that they've done good business in the past, because many of these developers are building a brand for themselves and a name for themselves. And as they're finishing one project, they're trying to sell the next one. And a lot of them like to resell their project to the investor pool that they already have that have bought before. So they have an interest in having people be happy. Now, if you're buying from a developer no one knows about, that's a whole different thing. So basically, in the due diligence, to answer the question, the due diligence package, whether you or your attorney does it, you should see the deed that they currently have with when the leasehold expires. And even in the US, there is no freehold. No, everything's freehold, but there's a superior way to take possession that like is above the government or something. But actually, I learned in a real estate school, but it's not any use, like it doesn't exist. Really. Is the channel you mentioned spelled? No, it's Tigoni. Tigoni. Yep. C. Griffin. That's a region in Limuru, by Limuru. Sorry about my pronunciation. I know it's not good. Tigoni. Tea for like tea farms. Ronnie, find a hardware bro. They're literally everywhere. But there are Home Depot style tool shop stores, electronic. See, I don't even know. This is the thing. I don't know. MH, what's up, member? You haven't missed too much. I know people who bought land and never traveled to the island, St. Louis, Grand Cayman. Well, I don't know these markets. Maybe, they're more secure or whatever. But when you come out here, you got to know what you're doing, I think. My point about the condo is you can't own freehold or otherwise because the department is not land. Those terms in any country refers to ownership of the land. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would love to know how many people in the room have actually gotten a money. I would say purchase, but if in the U.S., not many of us were buying all cash. That is the benefit of buying out here, is that it's affordable to be able to buy. Oh, sorry. I have to renew my Airbnb because I still haven't furnished my apartment yet. I ended up hiring an interior designer that I really like. And hopefully we're doing some joint content about everything. I already shot some of it, but I'm waiting for the finished product. I might go shopping with her and go show how she does everything. I really like how she does everything because she gives you a mood board, but all those items are basically what you're going to get. And then all those items are itemized on a spreadsheet and you see all the costs very transparently. So cool with that. I've decided to go in that direction because I've been very busy with the content. If you're in membership, you guys know I've been pumping out videos like crazy. There's 15 videos releasing this month, and I'm working on the next batch for September. That will go if you're not a member. If you are a member, as soon as I edit the video, it comes, as soon as I upload it, it goes into members only, and then it sits in the queue for release to the public. So that's how I've been doing it. Freedom. Y'all talking to each other. What else? So the other thing that I'm working on, and this is what I was talking about and why I wanted to come up talk about this topic is, do you know how many conversations I've been having about purchasing a vehicle out here? I have talked about it ad nauseum with so many different people. I've been offered so many different things. Some people are like, go to Mombasa. Some people are like, oh, well, just find a, you know, there's all kinds of different things to do. Go to a dealership. Well, I just keep having these conversations until I feel comfortable. And then I get referrals for people to work with. I don't just go to a car dealership by myself and try to negotiate. So I actually found the vehicle that I'm going to purchase. And an interesting thing, and I'll probably make a video about this because I learned a lot about the car market in this process. That's the other thing. You learn a lot so you know how you can move rather than just hiring someone to do something for you. So, oh man, where was I going with this? It's the cider. Not really. We love a shopping furniture video, especially used. Yeah. Well, most of the furniture is going to get custom made. But anyway, I've been, I found the vehicle that I'm interested in. And I have a friend that's a lawyer. And I'm like, well, and she actually referred me to the car dealership and the family that owns a car dealership. And they're kind of close, so it's a little bit of a warm transfer, as you would call it, where when I show up, they're already waiting for me. They know, and she would kind of hold them accountable if something happened. Obviously, that's not, doesn't make it impossible for something bad to happen or whatever, but it increases your chances of success. So I got the invoice for the vehicle. Oh, so what I was going to say, sorry, is that in this market, the seller still has possession of the vehicle. So when I went to the dealership, they called and were like, "Yo, can you bring the vehicle so the buyer, could look at it?" They drove the vehicle. It came. I checked it out, and I think that's kind of funny. Where like the dealership is like a intermediary, but they let the seller, they retain the vehicle until you're ready to purchase it. And at first they send you pictures like, hey, we have these, we have this, and they still do have cars on the lot. But if it's a locally used vehicle, then the seller may still have it. So now it's coming time like to actually buy the vehicle. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just wire, like, how should I pay for this? And this is a big issue, is actually like, how do you move your money from the US to Kenya in general? And like for the real estate, it's a problem because when you wire the money, like actually I sent a wire and it kicked back to me. So I still got to figure out what's going on. But this is a developer I've purchased from, and it hasn't been an issue, but it was kind of weird. I wired the money and it ended up coming back to me. But I don't want to wire, say, $35,000 to the car dealer without possession of the car, right? I don't care what paperwork I have. So it's like, all right. And my attorney friend, she said, we'll talk about it, but I'm not giving somebody all the money without the product. It's kind of, you watch some movies with like a drug deal and they're like, do you have the product? Do you have the money? And then they hide the money or whatever. It feels like that. This is me being over cautious, of course, but this is how you don't get scammed, right? So do I put a deposit down, then I get possession of the vehicle, then I wire the rest of the money? Of course, that's a risk on their end because now I have possession of the vehicle, but they don't have all the money. These are like, it's common sense, but I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all like, this is my soul brother from Africa, and I'm just going to buy from him, and I'll just do whatever somebody tells me to do. Y'all are tripping. Would love a shopping furniture video, especially if used. So the issue with content, like in certain places, is a lot of people don't like cameras. So it's hard because I want to show like the whole process, like the real estate stuff. You're seeing exactly what I'm seeing basically most of the time. You can't film in any mall. So could you film in the store at the mall? Probably. It gets kind of, problematic. And sometimes it's not good content to just talk about, like I had to show it. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a good way to do some of that stuff. But I think the furniture makers, we could probably show some things. I've been to a couple of them. It's crazy how like it's just like a little shop, and they're even outside working on the stuff. There's like steps, and they're out there building the stuff. But the final products look good. But again, like with the furniture, you have to put a deposit down, and then it takes them 3 days to make it. What happens if they just disappear on you? This is why you can't just go buy stuff. It's the same Walmart. You got to take that Western mindset and do something else with it, because you cannot operate the same way. Car buying process. Yeah, I'll definitely. I think you know what I realize, and people don't understand money or value or markets. And I guess for my background, it's intuitive to me. But when I go to the car dealer, like I was asking him questions, for example, and he was educating me. The owner was educating me on like how the market works, right? So cars are imported there, and they might be used where they were imported from. But when they come to Kenya, they're considered a new car if they're not locally driven. So the price is a high premium, even if it has mileage on it. Once a vehicle is used locally, the value goes down just like it would be if you bought a brand new car. So I don't buy a new car. I never bought a brand new car. It doesn't even make sense to me. Why wouldn't I just buy the locally used one? Now, I understand the Kenyan roads and the wear and tear, and maybe people don't do maintenance as much, could be a risk. But for the price difference, if you can vet the vehicle and everything, it's definitely worth buying like a locally used one. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But that distinction is big. Like the same vehicle with the same mileage or kilometers, if it's been driven locally versus if it's just freshly imported, will have a way different price. Escrow account, lawyer could be the intermediary. Yeah, you can use a lawyer as an escrow person for sure. But see, the problem here is you need a trustworthy lawyer to be able to navigate these things. But yeah, for sure. For the car, it looks sketchy. What do you mean? What's sketchy about it? I don't know. But what I wanted to talk about as far as the value is, I see people comment like, why? They're like, why are you buying apartments? Why didn't you just buy a house? And I'm like, well, first of all, the issues with the land and all that stuff, but also it's a bigger investment. Yeah, you could buy a house like out in the middle of nowhere for 6 million shillings, but you don't even know what you're doing out there. Being in Nairobi is very comfortable. Bonarari. Hi, Ryan. Been watching your videos. Sound like a really person. Great to have you around. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm doing my best. I really am. So let's get into, if you guys have questions, please let me know. I want to go to one of my favorite YouTube channels, that Saidah and Germaine travel check-ins. And I like them because they're just very like everyday things that you guys like. If you're thinking about coming here, you should subscribe to the channel and watch, because they talk about everyday stuff in a plain way. Because visiting and staying or living somewhere is different. And so they talk about that stuff quite well. And and they just dropped the video, so let's see what they're talking about here. Hold on, let me, have you taken the keys for the Kilimani apartment? And are you happy with it, or did you just accept as false regarding the finishing? Uh, this goes into understanding, like, we're not in the US. So you have to balance what you're used to like if someone's getting over or not, versus advocating for yourself. So I did get the keys. I got the keys last Friday, and the only issue that I really had still is the grout. Well, really, there's a couple things. Like there's a piece of granite that's scratched. Um, there's no way that they're going to replace it, I don't think. And it's a minor scratch, but it is annoying. Like if I was in the U.S., I would have a problem with it if I was buying brand new. Here's the problem: their building practices are chaotic, and they just don't care. There's no oversight. There's people doing stuff all over the place. I was at Skynest, actually. I was in the lobby, and they're moving chairs, and the guy's just dragging the chair on the ground, and I'm like, "Yo, you're gonna scratch the floor up." No one cares. No one yells at him. No, he's just dragging a chair on the floor, making noise. I'm cringing, like, ah. So when I'm in these developments, they're like actively wearing out the tiles on the floor while they're building. Same thing like when they're spackling the walls and stuff. If they drop some spackle or get it on the wrong thing, they don't wipe it. They just let it dry on the wall, and it goes like this is just the practices that they have. And I could show you like even in this room, like there's a bunch of imperfections on a lot of things. And my point is this stuff is pretty standard. So within reason, you try to negotiate. The grout, they can't do it. They've already redone it once, and it looks just as bad. And they're like, "What's wrong with it?" And I'm like, "You don't see that it's not the same color everywhere?" And they're confused. So in okay, so staying in this Airbnb cost me money, and the time cost me money. So at some point, it's like, all right, I'll just regrout it myself and I'll make content about it because every apartment looks like that though. Very, very few developers are really good with the attention to detail, like the paint and edging and stuff. Actually, all right, let me I wonder if I could show you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh, no, I can't spin the camera around. I can't spin all the way. I would show you guys like the paint on the edges, like when I'm looking at the door and stuff. Like in the U.S., if you're painting something and you get it on something that you're not supposed to get it on, like the trim, you would just wipe it and it would be fine. They don't wipe it; just let it dry, and then it looks bad. Crazy. But yes, I took the keys and I'm working on furnishing the property. Levi Reed, I want to build a restaurant business in Kenya. Where would I find wholesale food suppliers? I have no idea, but that's a good question. I wonder that. I'm like, where does the food come from? Is it fresh? Is it actually fresh? Where do the fruits, where does everything come from? Because I'm interested in farming. How do they sell? What kind of scale do you need to have to sell direct to the bigger stores like Carrefour and stuff like that? I have no idea. I'll tell you that restaurants are very competitive here because there's a lot of good ones. So don't think you come here and you need to know the restaurant business to do well. I'm subscribed to that couple. They have some great day-to-day content about living. Yeah, I think everyone should watch their content for sure because it's just like so normal and it's not over the top. I think that's a good because a lot of people come here, they make content and then they travel somewhere else and even me. I mean, I haven't been here that long, so it's good to get a lot of different opinions. And you will bring someone in to get it to your standard because I can't abide by some of the stuff. It is what it is. Um, but you got to put it in perspective. Like it really is very just aesthetic. Like it doesn't impact your day to day. And I don't think I've ever showed my house in the U.S., but I've renovated my whole house in the U.S. because I did house flipping. Okay, so um, I flipped a bunch of houses, and I always said like, "Dang, these houses are nicer than my own house that I live in." And I was like, when I buy my next house, I'm going to just renovate it exactly the way that I want it, get all the materials the way that I want. And so my house is really nice. So comparing the finishing, it doesn't compare, but I'm here. So it's some of you guys are like, oh, I would never. Well, what are the options that you would have? Because you can keep telling them to fix it over and over again, but is it going to work? Like I'm telling you, the grout, they're just not capable. It's better to import a European used car than a used car here. We do. I don't see how it's worth the money. I don't get it, but I don't know. But like I think this is see I could be naive, but there is this skepticism of things that are in Kenya. So as soon as someone starts driving it, people think it's worse. I don't know if that's true all the time. I could see people don't maintain things the same way, or they just beat the car up. That could be true, but that could be true anywhere. So I don't know. Uh, you're paying all those taxes to import the vehicle. Why don't just get something that's already here so that you're avoiding all that cost? I watch these guys too, even though I'm already in Nairobi and also came here previously before they moved. Okay. Cars, it's cheaper to import than buy from a dealer. Yeah, it's cheaper. Okay. I don't know. See, like I can't get involved in stuff until I know more about it. Can I ask about the roofing in the bathroom of the Kilimani spot? What is that? Oh, so that is it's not it's a vinyl, which it's actually a good idea. I was thinking about it the other day because if there's a leak or something, it won't get stained. Although then you might not know there's a leak, but it's waterproof because it's like a vinyl. It's kind of like siding on a house. It's so frustrating. See the carelessness, especially with them charging in dollars. These apartments aren't cheap. Yeah, and it's like small stuff. Like I'm telling you, I'm in a lot of these buildings as they're building them, and I'm just watching them. I was watching the guy because it's a concrete construction, but like around the windows and doors and inside the unit, they have to spackle, or I don't know if it's spackle or like a thin set of concrete or mortar or whatever it is, but you have to get like the door jamb smooth and equal so the door can be installed. And the guy's just like throwing concrete at it. And I'm like, why don't you mix it with some more water and just smoothly use the right tool? And you need a trowel. Like I do it in 2 seconds. The guy was there all day just flinging concrete, making a mess, is going everywhere. I'm like, why are you doing that? And no one tells him. Like it's crazy. And I actually think at my building, when I first was there, they had installed the mirrors in the wrong spot and they broke all the tiles behind the mirror and they had to replace them all. I've seen a lot of broken things in these off-plan properties, and I think the Chinese strategy is that the cheap labor is cheaper than better labor, and just replacing the materials because the Chinese are getting the materials so cheaply. If they mess stuff up, who cares? And then they're just relying on you when you do the inspection to come back after the fact and tell them that certain things are not correct, which kind of sucks. Yeah, it's not foundational, it's just cosmetic. But I mean, like the granite countertop having a little scratch in it is annoying. It is annoying. And the seams, like in the US, we would never have, you would use a whole piece. And so you wouldn't have seams unless it was really big. And then they're very, like the granite work, you can almost not even be able to tell there's a seam or a second piece. Here is a mess. But is it going to ruin your day? That's my point. Like, okay, whatever. But not whatever. Like, if I could get it fixed or make it look better, I will. But some of the stuff, you're just not going to win the battle. Chinese need to pay the workers more and need to give them a trainer while using them for. But here's the problem, MH, is that they're selling out. So if people are buying it, actually, they're buying it so much that they sell out 2 years before the project's done. Some of these are selling out before there's even a showroom. So what's their incentive to pay more for labor or training or oversight or any of that stuff? And here's the thing: okay, say I'm a new developer, and I say I'm going to make my finishes way better, but I'm going to pay my people 2 times as much, and then my building costs twice as much for the same square meters. Am I going to be competitive in the market? That's why this is happening, because they're building to the standard that people find acceptable here. We, the customers, are the problem. Well, and this is the thing. I mean, you could take a risk and come and build with us at full US or Western higher standards of construction. Can you command a higher price because of it? I think the mentality here is more of a utilitarian perspective, right? So, all these things go together because I see how people fix things too. Like they don't maintain or fix things the same way. Like they just do it as cheaply or as easily as possible a lot of time, because they don't care how it looks. As long as it works, that's good enough for me. And that's just a different mentality and kind of the culture. But I understand where it comes from, right? Like having something look really nice is a luxury. So if you don't need that, then who cares? Do you have to be a Kenyan citizen? Oh my goodness, this question. You got to scroll back. We talked about it a bunch of times. But yes, you can buy property, but it'll be on a leasehold unless there's different things that you can do. A lot of improvement. And there's a video in members only that talks about this. That's going to come out in the next couple of weeks. A lot of the improvements and additions came from the internal Chinese competition, not customers demanding better quality. See, and this is the iPhone thing, right? So if I come here, people didn't know they wanted a smartphone until they had a smartphone. So the same thing, like if I come and build at a higher quality, at first it might not be valued, but then people might start being like, oh, well, I bought from this developer. My stuff looked nice. Like it looked like because there's this thing where, people kind of value the West, Europe, the US. So if it's built to that type of standard and look, maybe over time you can convince people that it's worth it. Saidah and Germaine video. I know, I'm still trying to get to it, but I thought this was a good conversation to talk about as well. But yeah, thanks, KO. Let's do it, because I'm tired of talking. All right, hopefully the computer or the internet doesn't explode, because this Airbnb is not giving me fast internet.
Hey guys, welcome back to Travel Check-ins with Saidah.
Let me know if you can hear.
Today, we're going to be talking about some of the fresh.
Tell me if you could hear that first to make sure that it's working, because I haven't ran this. Give me a 1 or a yes or something that you could hear when I played it. I'll give you guys a second. I'll check this real quick. Somebody tell me. Okay. Oh, okay. Dang, I gotta move out of here tomorrow, so I gotta get a new Airbnb. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, audio's good. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yes, Rupert. We talked about it, so I like having the conversation, but you got to go back. We could hear how are Indian. Look, guys, you can't just go, oh, they're Indian, they build good. That's dumb, to be honest. Don't do that, because I've seen some Chinese developers that are horrible. I've seen Chinese developers that are above average. I've actually stayed in a place that was Kenyan built, and for the price, I thought it was okay, but the build quality and stuff was a little low. But judging based off of the nationality or ethnicity, I don't think is a reliable way to do it. I think you have to look at each developer individually. I don't think where they're from is very indicative of anything. All right, let me go back to the video.
Frustration
So they're talking about shocking challenges Americans face in Kenya. So let's see if I agree.
that Americans might deal with, and we want to talk to you guys about how to prepare for those frustrations before you move to Kenya or just any country that has a slower pace than America.
Yep.
Okay.
Living in Kenya and how it can be a frustration.
Okay.
So Germaine, what do Americans expect when they come to America? And let's use grocery shopping as an example.
Oh.
Well, I guess this is a video kind of explaining how Americans think also, right?
Yeah.
Let me speed them up.
When we normally go to the grocery store, like me, it was an in and out thing.
Germaine doesn't like to linger at the grocery store. Like when I go to the grocery
Me
store,
neither.
I like to like look around. Like we'll go with a list,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes I feel like maybe I want to look around and see if it's something that I maybe didn't have on the list that I want to pick up.
Yeah, I want to go get exactly what I need.
Get in and get
out
out.
of there
Yeah.
least amount of time.
Especially when we go to Costco. Like sometimes they'll have like little samples of things, and we
Oh,
stopped and
gosh.
had samples, and we've wound up buying stuff as a result of trying samples. But on a typical shopping day, do you like to stop and check out samples and look at things?
I know.
You like to do what? Like get in and get out?
Get in and go. And I like all of my stuff in one spot. I don't want to have to go to store to store to store to store.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of the issue I might run into here.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing about now, it might all be within that mall,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like a Costco here that I know of that I can go in there and get bulk.
Oh. See, look.
How much could you save by switching your car insurance to Allstate?
Guys, I promise. I
Well,
have
let's say
I have
this is
premium,
you.
but
Hello. And this
I'm
is you with 7
logged into the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Of everything.
Right.
I get soap, toothpaste.
Yeah. Everything you need.
You can get clothes out of there.
You can get pots and pans,
Right.
electronics, towels.
Yeah, electronics, towels,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
iPhones.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
And another thing we like to do is we don't like to shop every day. Like
Oh,
for us,
Mm.
you know, sometimes we've done what's called monthly grocery shopping.
Right.
Like we'll figure out what are those staples that will last for a month or more.
Right.
And we'll just buy those things in bulk from Costco, things like rice and oats and those and sugar. So
Even
you're not
meat.
buying, yeah.
Because we have
I want to talk about this because the same things that you are used to or that are convenient are the same things that, or the inconveniences are the same things that you like about Kenya, probably, right? So the fact that you can get fresh stuff and there's less processed foods means that you need to shop more, right? And because there's less preservatives, these things go bad faster. So it's less convenient, but you can't complain about, you can't say I love that the food is fresher. And then also, and I'm not saying they're saying that, I'm just saying in general as a concept. And then also say, oh, well, I just want to go shopping once a month, you know?
in the US, right, a lot of us have deep freezers.
Right.
So it's a big freezer. You just put all your meat in, and every time you get meat, you just rotate it in and out. So yeah.
So meat doesn't have to be freshly bought that day.
No.
For us as Americans.
No, because we on the move, so we need to get everything we need to get right then and there.
And another thing I think we expect as Americans is a large amount of things.
Oh yeah.
Like when you go to Costco, there's shelves and
yeah.
shelves and shelves of everything.
Right.
And if something is out, like people feel like it's a shortage. Like it's typically things are just not out of stock for the most part. So what's something that you've learned to appreciate about the Kenyan way of shopping? And what are some like examples and tips that Kenyans give us for shopping?
Well, you know what's funny about that? Like the one-stop shop and you having to go into different places. There's a solution for that. And it's, you can hire someone to shop for you. You know, a lot of people have like a house lady that can go shopping for them and buy the stuff that they need. So you don't even have to go to the store. Or you could use Glovo or something like that where they deliver and it's very affordable. So it's a downside, but because what I find when I go shopping, which I haven't really, because I'm waiting to move into my place, but I've shopped previously on other visits, is things just like, okay, because most people use M-Pesa, checking out takes an extra 30 seconds. And as an American, you're like, this could be going faster. But that goes to my point again. The slower pace is something that we generally like, unless you're at the store and you want to check out. But you can't have it both ways. You can't have a efficient, get it done culture and also have a laid back, chill, relaxed vibe at the same time. You got to pick your world, right? So instead of me getting impatient, I go, relax, right? And I feel like that's good for me, rather than, because that anxiety, like, let me check, like, I want to save 30 seconds, like, who cares, but at the same time, it can be annoying when you're trying to get other stuff done, maybe because, I do notice this when I go back to the States, also because I have a vehicle, though. It's much faster to go and stop somewhere and get something and get out, because there's security everywhere. So if you go to the mall, there's parking, there's a parking token, there's security, you got to empty your pockets. I have my vlog camera and all 2 phones because I got a Safaricom line. I got, like, there's a lot going on. So it's a lot of friction that happens anytime you stop somewhere, because then you got to navigate the small parking lot. There's a lot going on. Or if you have to call Uber, God forbid, now they want to know where you're going. Oh, I don't want to go there. Can't. Oh, you're paying with a card. Oh, whatever. Oh, where are you? It's like a whole thing. So there's a lot more friction. Check the buildings. Gathunda Heights in Kilauea. I stayed Airbnb. I like it. Yeah, I'll check it out. Is that the big yellow building? I know that one in Kilauea. Nasira, what's going on? You're living the dream. I want to get out of America. Yeah, I feel you. But we're talking about the trade-offs, kind of. Yep, whenever I was in a rush, I'd order on Glovo ahead of the time, so it was ready exactly. Which is, it's a benefit. So you could have the best of both worlds. You could hire someone to shop for you. You could hire a boater to go get the stuff and bring it to you. Or you could go and have a relaxing time if you have the patience. So you could do both things. Let's see what else they're talking about.
Well, a lot of people go and grocery shop almost every day, right? Because it's a social thing a little bit.
Like grocery
and also,
shopping.
I will say, if you go and get fresh, especially vegetables, every day, it makes a difference because fresh vegetables taste a lot different than frozen veggies or veggies in a can. I will say that.
But let me say this. So I bought some tomatoes probably about a week ago now.
Right.
And I bought them, I think it was like a half a kg or kg. Right. It's just the 2 of us. I still have more. Some of them were underripe, so they weren't ripe yet, and they're ripening in the fridge.
Oh, that's why they're lasting now.
And when I eat them, they taste delicious.
Right.
So why Kenyans, this is their culture, right?
Right.
If they buy it every day, I think that's just their culture. But for me, I can buy them and I can eat them from 7 days ago. I'm fine. Like, it doesn't bother me.
You're used to it. That's not your lifestyle.
Right.
That's weird to you.
I know. And so sometimes when you guys see us, we say, no, we bought potatoes for the entire week.
Right.
That's just what we used to. We're just used to buying things and it being here in the house. We don't buy everything.
That's the American culture. And, people can knock it, but saving time so that you can apply your time to do other things is a good thing, I think. And that's why, look, people hate on the U.S. We get stuff done, okay? We're on time. We are doing a good job. We're getting stuff done. We're efficient. We're not wasting time. We're in the store. We're out the store. We're at work. We're doing the thing. Like, there's benefit. That's why the U.S. to some degree excels, because we do have the hustle culture. If you're in Kenya, you probably, like, if you're subscribed to the hustle culture so much, it's going to bother you because it's not like that here. Like, if you're having a business meeting, it might not happen on time. If you're going out with people, friends or whatever, they're not going to be on time. Shoot, if there's an event, they tell you noon, they're still setting up by the time you get there. You're going to be the only one there. That's just how it is. That's why you need a lady at home, right? And she'll sort this all out for you. Stop pushing toxic capitalism. Yeah, but there's a lot of, like, when you go somewhere, I don't know. The grass, look, you could choose to go somewhere else, but trashing the place you came from sometimes, I don't know. I see there's differences. I would say for me, what I like or what I'm valuing at this time in my life is different. But, you know, I probably couldn't be here if I wasn't in the US and being able to benefit from all the things that I was able to benefit from, the military, GI Bill, the mortgage industry, real estate industry, all that kind of stuff. There are benefits. So, you know, nope. Wait, not too far from the Kilimani bar next to, oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm hoping to only be in here for another week. But now I'm definitely I'm gonna have to get off at in the next 40 minutes because I'm gonna have to find an Airbnb now and pack and move. Oh, it's terrible.
Daily.
Right. It's a time factor.
Yeah. So let's talk about like daily life and schedules and stuff like that. What's the American mindset around time and productivity?
We don't have time to waste and time to play around.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. The ads is crazy. Let's let that go. Guys, I don't want to log out and log in because it'll take forever. You can value the people, culture, etc., but not the yeah, but the strain of capitalism creates what we have.
Work or something we need. If it's a worker in the United States, like, you know, if you're a worker, listen, these people trying to get it and go, and I want them to get it and be gone. So everything is as fast and expedient as possible and efficient.
Yeah.
Okay, this makes me think of going to restaurants. I was going to make a video about this, but I'll talk about it here. When you go to a restaurant, there's like a hostess sometimes, but they kind of just walk with you until you sit down. They don't really bring you to a seat in most places, which is kind of funny. Like, you know, you're used to the hostess kind of leading you to wherever your seat is. It doesn't work like that. And sometimes you got to wave the waiter down, which I feel like is rude, but you might sit there for a while before they come. Not all the time. It's kind of inconsistent, and it's kind of similar in most places, or most different places that you go to. It's pretty common. And then the other thing is they'll never just bring you the bill. You definitely need to ask for the bill. You can sit there for an hour after you're done. If you don't ask for the bill, you're not getting it. Pay the premium, Ryan. You have the subs now. The premium for what? What are we talking about? If that helps me, yeah, but this channel don't make no money. If that helps me to go to heaven, I will try, but American pressure, not good. Okay.
Yeah, there's no lingering around talking. Like, if it's a line and you're trying to talk to somebody in the line, they're not really trying to have it.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, do your job and shut your mouth. That's what it's going to be.
Even like, okay, so you know how you order something, like you may go to a store like Best Buy and you may order a washing machine or you order something from Amazon. Right. So when consumers in the US order something and we're given a time that those things are supposed to be there, or a day that those things are supposed to be there, Americans typically expect for them to be there relatively within that time frame. Right.
If it's not, it's probably going to be a problem. We're looking like, hey, what's my discount? Yeah. Like, it's no, I want to hear your excuse that got nothing to do with me. How much you gonna give me off? And companies generally sell that as a feature of their company, like Amazon. They let you know we can get it to you today or within a day or two. So like those are the selling points. Like even Walmart. Amazon is what's got us spoiled, to be honest. Walmart too, so because you can order your Walmart in the morning and you can pick your order up that day, or you can have it delivered.
Oh yeah, I got YouTube Premium. I do have it. It's just not logged in. I don't know why, and I have to keep logging in. They try to block me because I'm here.
You know why?
Why?
Because Amazon.
Exactly. Even Walmart had to step their game up because Amazon was like, remember Amazon started doing groceries?
Black Americans would be better off in the Caribbean. Africa is too tribal for them. What are you talking about?
Groceries,
Pharmacy,
everything. And I bought myself. I better shake it up.
CVS and all that stuff. They're getting all
doesn't affect
Walgreens,
us
all
at
the pharmacies.
all.
So yeah, we've been conditioned as Americans to expect things in a very timely manner,
Right.
and we look at time very differently. We look at time as a limited resource,
Right.
where I think is people in other countries look at time as something that it never runs out. I guess you just always have an abundance of it.
Right.
So
Don't
it's
worry
just
about
different.
it. It's not. It won't run out, but I'm not worried about it.
Yes, and we're used to a quick turnaround and very strict schedules because life is just on schedule.
I think there's a happy medium somewhere in between.
Right. I think we're trained because you got to be.
Me being in the military, I don't like to be late. So I still come on time if I'm, a business meeting or something like that. Although I could see why people could be late because there's just random events that can happen. Like the other day I was meeting Dennis at a development and there was a boda accident. And so the road was all crazy and there was a crowd of people and it took us forever to get by it. Now you're late, So these things can happen. In Kenya, outside of Westlands, it's tribes that matter. Leave Westlands and oh my goodness. So tired. One thing about America, they have excellent customer service. Exactly. The customer's always right, all that kind of stuff. Going back to the building stuff here, it's a little bit of a battle sometimes to get the repairs that you want or the fixes.
School at a certain time, in class by a certain time, to work at a certain time, and there's penalizations for not. You can get fired if you don't deliver to people on a certain time.
I know.
So time is very important.
Anything can happen.
So Germaine, let's talk about social interactions. How do social interactions impact errands in Kenya? So
before they talk, I have a problem. So I have a property manager for the Lavington property. I've been getting other agents showing the property as well. And just in general, even like talking to Dennis, I'm a real estate agent that I work with a lot. I would just message you what I need or like what's going on. I'm like, when are we meeting today? Or let's meet at 1:00 or whatever. Like when it comes to me, I'm like, oh shoot, let me send a message. I think I'm violating the culture a little bit because everyone will say, have a greeting and be like, and everyone uses very polite language, like kindly do this, or even in the elevator at this building, there's like rules. And they're like, if the power goes out, what did it say? It was like, guy, don't worry, guys, please keep, like it was written in like a very friendly language. I don't know. So like not saying good morning before you start talking about business is, I feel like I'm being a little rude sometimes, but sometimes I'm doing all these other tasks. So I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What's, whatever. I just go straight to business and they have like 2 or 3 messages before you talk about business that I always violate. Even if you marry in Kenya, it's tribe. Being black makes no difference. You're still a foreigner. Oh my God, this guy's obsessed. British politeness. I enjoy it. I don't know if I like it. You know what I don't like about it is that people respond slowly. And see, this is the America versus Kenya business attitudes. And this is what I was talking about before. You're saying don't be celebrating all this hyper capitalism, but like, yo, if you don't answer, I'm calling somebody else and we doing the business. I tell people that in the US too, because people sometimes don't answer the phone. But dealing with people in a business sense, people act like they got all day. I don't got all day. First of all, I'm here on a limited amount of time. If you're not answering, I'm talking to 7 more people. And especially, and it's kind of funny because a lot of people are concerned about making money, But yo, answer the phone, respond. I'm gonna fire you. You know, like the property manager, like he take all day to respond. Okay, well, guess what? You know what? Forget it. I'm a manager myself. Cut your 10% out, cut your commission out. I'll just do it because I'm not getting the answers when I need the answers. We need to get this done. Because I know where it comes from. Yeah, it definitely comes from that British nonsense. I don't got a lot of love for it. We're always adding tribes. The other day, we added a handful of Shona people who got stranded in Kenya and made a home. Indian people are a tribe who says black and I don't know. I don't. Whatever. Kenya has a lot of British sensibilities in terms of language. Yep, they do. Yeah, he's bringing a lot of negativity. I don't know what his problem is. He's a little obsessed, but that's all right. We love him anyway. Kenyans are not Americans. You want to live in Kenya. See, like these kind of people, they think they know what they're saying, but they only understand like a very surface level. You don't understand the nuance of everything that I've been saying. You just hear one thing and like it's just dumb. Like obvious. Oh, you didn't. You thought that I didn't know that Kenya's not America, and I'm not saying that it should be. I'm just saying I get stuff done, and when I'm hiring people, if they don't answer, I'll do it myself. So, what's your problem?
Like when we had went to visit someone the other day, and when you told the person, you were kind of like, I don't know, were you in a hurry? I don't know if Jermaine was in a hurry, but he jumped right into letting the security guard know, this is who I'm here to see.
Well, it's some of my Americanism, however you want to put it.
Yeah, but see, MH, how's Britain doing today? You know? All that politeness and all that. These talking tribal stuff probably never. No, I'm sure he has. There's a big segment of people that just they have really basic points and they think that we don't know anything. Oh, stop lecturing us. I'm not lecturing. Oh my God, here comes Plano. The hater crew's here. Dude, you're way too sensitive. People say plenty of things about Americans and other foreigners. They're generalizations. Relax. It's definitely etiquette from the Brits being born Caribbean. I don't struggle with the hi, good evening, how are you? Yeah. Because what? Yeah, well, it depends what island you're from. Oh my gosh. Levi, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have the answers. Foundational. Oh my God, that's a whole nother topic that's annoying.
That and plus, sometimes when I go there, they don't always say hello.
They seem like they be in a rush.
Who you coming to see? Yeah, yesterday he had time.
No, I'm not calling Kenyans haters. I'm calling a segment of people that talk like you do, who come in here talking about tribe. We have not talked about tribe, not once, and you're trying to interject tribalism into a conversation that has nothing to do with it. So yes, you're coming in here negative. You haven't said nothing positive. You hadn't added anything valuable to the conversation. You've only just been negative. So yes, you're a hater. Do you have anything productive or beneficial to say other than all this hate? That's what I want to know. The slow response and lack of urgency on business.
Well, yes. Wait a minute. How are you, by the way? I said, oh yeah, I forgot where I was. I said, my fault.
Yeah.
And we went through that whole little ritual almost.
Yeah. So yesterday, like usually when we go and we see the security guard, usually when we pull up, he's like, "Who you here to see?" He don't be on that type of energy of like asking, "How are you? Welcome." Da 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 da. So usually we just jump right into it. And yesterday, Germaine jumped right into it, telling him who he was there to see.
He said, "No, sir."
And then he was like, He was like, "First of all, let's start off with how you doing today?" And Germaine was like, "Oh,
yeah. I have a problem with it. Let's do it."
So we noticed that.
Which is my point. I think you got to detox from that a little bit, because if you watch the other video, that's something I like about Kenya, is like respecting other people's humanity as a person, even if they're working somewhere and you're like talking to the security guard. I think that's a good thing. I'm just saying what we're used to, right? Like, who's here? What are we doing? Like, we go straight to whatever the business is or whatever needs to get done. And I think and I actually think it's pretty toxic when you don't acknowledge the humanity of other people, especially people working. So that's a positive. I'm just saying, like, we're not used to it, because I'll be messaging people like, "Yo, what are we doing? What's going on?" The lack of urgency with business does bother me too, especially because I'm only there for a short period of time and can't afford to be sluggish. I notice some Kenyan businesses don't even email back. Yeah, the response time when you're on a time limit is a problem, And okay, if we're talking about business, and this guy's in here crying, you're not entitled about business. If you take long to respond and I want someone to respond faster, I'm gonna talk to someone else. They probably Kenyan too, but they're just more on time. They're more responsive. In order to understand Kenya, you must understand the tribal culture. Well, why don't you explain the tribal culture instead of saying, "You guys don't know anything and you don't know and get out of here"? Like, we don't like you. How do you think we're going to respond to that? And the other thing is, if I was a British guy or a white guy, you wouldn't be talking like that. That's the other funny thing. If you be, oh, you're so great. Mombasa nearly broke me. They really, yeah, Mombasa, it's hot. It's cool, but not for a long period of time.
Even with social interactions, like in the US, we don't typically do those greetings per se all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you do greetings in the US, you're actually shot down. Like, how about at Walmart?
Man, I've been shot down in church. I ain't gonna lie.
So yeah, it's like in other countries, people want to build rapport. Like, they want to say, "Hey, let's do something."
I actually like that better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
My only thing with the rapport sometimes is if it feels too customary, then it doesn't seem genuine. Although I think actually most people that you talk to here are actually genuinely when they talk to you. But just sometimes it just like feels performative, which is a British thing, right? Like that British culture of like politeness is a layer that underlies something else going on a lot of times. Will, how does one go about building an MLS or Zillow-like system in Kenya? Are there structures like government bodies or realtor boards that have oversight? Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. Buy, rent, sell Kenya is probably the closest thing to it. The thing about the US is the realtor association has such a stranglehold on the market that they make everyone comply. And the thing is, here, everyone's kind of independent, so it's hard to get everyone to abide by the same rules or submit to the same thing. The reason why Zillow was able to come in is because the different MLS boards had such strong rules and a monopoly on the data that is not here. So the other thing is, like, how do you enforce commissions, right? Because there could be a lot of going around people. If you have a public listing, they'll just go direct to the seller. So having a lot of transparency requires the right contracts and agreements between a lot of different parties that I think could be challenging. They literally colonized your country. Stop playing with us. See, I don't know. I don't know what their problem is, but whatever.
They're just not about getting things done. It's
Right.
like, yeah.
Like I say, it's a happy median.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, let's
Like, did the British understand the tribes?
exchange pleasantries. Now let's get it done.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
So let's talk about errands and like how, as an American, you can move to another country that moves on a slower pace, and how that can really make you frustrated. And sometimes Germaine and I have run into like trying to get things done, and it just takes a long time. So Germaine, what's
Overall, trying to get things done take all day, especially if you haven't done it before. I know Kai was trying to get passport pictures so he could go to Tanzania. He had to go to like 7 places. The one place the printer didn't work, the other place the camera wasn't working, but the printer was, or something like that. It's crazy. And then you're driving, there's traffic, something happens, stuff takes all day. Something that you could get done in the States a lot faster would take a long time.
one example of an errand that took way longer than expected in Kenya? Would you like me to answer? You got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to narrow one.
See, look, he loves the British. They understood the tribes. Europeans are familiar with Africa. Oh, really? Why are they familiar? The Belgian understood tribes too, huh? How did that work out? Maybe they understood it too good. Gen Z were in the streets saying tribalism has had its day and has cost us too much. Our opinions are outdated. It's mostly a show. I'm glad you said it. I was just kind of ignoring him because he's trying to bring back the tribalism that I think most younger Kenyans are trying to get away from, which is why he's a hater. I don't know why he's here, to be honest. Like, you're not contributing anything. They understood it so well, they used it to rule them, steal their land, and drain them of their natural resources. But he loves the white man. What's up, Nerd Novatech? Tribe comes into play with marriages, naming rights. Oh, wow. Where have you ever been to? Racism in America is extreme. Kenya, we do not have racism. You're short-sighted. Oh, Lord.
To be honest with you, you go ahead and give me yours.
So,
you realize you're playing into
Dreaming
this
of a custom
thing
home
that's
that's exactly how
the problem. Culebra.
so guys, like we.
You know what happens is that these guys like Culebra come in here and they think they have a monopoly on everything just because we're not from here. Like, they think they could just bully you and act like their opinion's the only opinion or understanding that is relevant. And there's clearly people in here that don't agree with you. So, what does that mean? And obviously, we don't know everything. I'm learning. I'm here. I love learning about different things. His trolls. I know, right? You guys see a similarity between the haters. They all say the same thing, and it's very basic. Like, it's not nuanced. They don't have anything to add. They don't have any value to add. They just complaining and shouting. I don't know. They're upset. Is the tech industry huge in Nairobi? I don't know. Oh my, he loves the British. He loves the colonizers. Okay. Right, exactly.
We are in Kenya. We're on our ETA, which is like the visa here, right? And so we were going to get an extension, and we were filling out the application online. And you would think you just go in, you fill out the application, boom, you submit it, you're done. No, that's not how it works. So I think I filled out the application 7 times for myself, and I filled out the application 9 times for Germaine, because the application just keeps kicking out, like it keeps acting like you're not putting in any information. So right. I think we probably spent maybe 2 hours working on the application, uploading the information. Then it didn't show up. The receipt didn't come. So it probably took us about 5 days to work on the application.
It was a while.
Then we finally just went down to the immigration office. So we did wind up going down to the immigration office and we got everything sorted, but it did take a little bit longer than we anticipated. And I think we actually started working on our extension about a week and a half before
like
our ETA was going to run out. So keeping that in mind.
But notice they're on an ETA, so they haven't gotten the residency either, which was my recommendation, is to don't just jump into doing residency.
Germaine, what mindset shifts help Americans stay sane living in Kenya or a place that kind of goes on a slower time frame?
You're just gonna have to add some time to it. You realize you're not in the U.S. anymore, or wherever you came from, and things are different. People grew up different. They have different expectations. They don't go to the bank and say, "Hey, where are all the workers? You need to hire more people in here. It take it too long." They don't really do that here. They have a lot more patience because they're used to it. You go early and expect it to be late. just be honest with you. That is going to save you your sanity, right? And if it arrives on time, man, that's a pleasant surprise, right? On time.
I think the solution is just hiring the right people to do the things that you don't want to do, if you can afford to do it.
It's different to different people. So just give yourself some extra time. And patience. That's really it. What do you have?
Well, I want you to share one more example. I want you to share another example of like something that could cause like Americans frustration. For example, talk to us about your dinner order from last night.
I mean, that can happen in the U.S. too, just to be honest now, but I have more of a recourse. Seems like when I'm in the U.S. Last night, I ordered I think I ordered a chicken sandwich and I got a cheeseburger, and everybody here doesn't know how to make cheeseburgers, and that thing, I'm like,
Guys, one time I ordered an omelet with 3 different toppings, and I got 3 different toppings. But I think it was a language barrier, actually. But I still ate it. I'm not even tripping.
Oh, it's no need to go in what I had to do, but last night I had French fries for dinner and a Snicker bar.
Yeah, and when you get the wrong order here, is it as easy to get a refund or replacement as it is in the States?
I wouldn't even try.
You can get a refund, but replacement, if you there, yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about orders,
no,
like delivery orders.
No, even Uber Eats is different here.
Yeah,
it's different now. Don't expect.
I just take it, to be honest.
Yeah, but Uber Eats will rectify.
But even if I was in the U.S., I would just, I'd probably just take it.
Sometimes they say we'll give you a sandwich, or they might give you your money back, Uber Eats, if it's something egregious and you've got the proof. But for the most part, man, don't be ordering all these special orders. No this, no this, no that, no that, no.
Lady Smith, thank you. I know he's encouraging election problems and all that. He's basically hopes that it happens. I hope that stuff doesn't happen. You know, I don't know why he's got such a bad attitude. But yeah, well, you know, I'm pretty used to these kind of guys, so it's kind of amusing to me. If I was someone like you, Ryan, I'd definitely get a PA who's worked for expat previously. This couple are retirees and they have time on their hands. Yeah, I don't be having time sometimes. Glovo ignores my allergies. yeah, it ain't the place for that. Yeah, I get what, you know, he's got Stockholm syndrome.
Oh,
he'll be all right.
Don't work that way.
So are there any small things that used to annoy you that you just now?
I think the thing that they don't like about us, first of all, they have this thing where the reason why I've noticed these guys do this thing, because you're black, they're more likely to disrespect you. That happens in the US. Like if you're from the hood, they'll be more like, they'll be nice to white people that might happen to be in the hood or visiting, or like if they're wearing nice clothes. But another person that lives right next to them, they might shoot them. Who knows? Whatever. It's kind of the same thing. Because we look similarly, they feel like they could be disrespectful and so negative, because there's a self-hate thing that he's got going on. And I feel bad for him. But a lot of Black Americans coming here, it's a positive thing. It's funny because I think we're trying to connect, and then there's some guys like these guys that want to create division, but just don't feed into it that much, you know? Yeah. Oh.
Embrace.
I mean, pretty much all that stuff was like, at first, it was like, man, what's going on? But now, and like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need to get frustrated about something you can't control anyway. And people don't mean any harm. They're just doing what they do. So I just got to adjust to it. If I say I'm going to be here, right, for the long term, when I'm going to be mad another 10 years, nah, I just go ahead and.
He loves the colonizers. It's okay.
I'm that too. Now I'm more patient.
Yeah.
Like I'm poly, man.
Yeah. So yeah, as an American, that might be one of the cultural adjustments that you will have to or may experience when you're here. So this video is just to give you a little insight and just kind of share some of those things that you may not be expecting. But living in Kenya is definitely a great experience. It's just shifting the way your expectations may be set up from living in the US to shifting the way things actually work here on the ground in Kenya.
How it actually works.
Yes.
Not how you think it works or with all these YouTube videos, how it actually works. So come, be prepared that things might take a little.
That's why I like them a lot, because they tell you, like, I think a lot of people come here and they just want to say positive things. They're having culture shock. Is an amazing experience. But talking about some of the real things, because there's people uprooting their lives to move to the continent and Kenya and different countries. And it's important for people to get a realistic point of view, because it's really romanticized right now. And I understand where that comes from, but you got to be practical. And to be honest, like the hater dude in here that's talking, yeah, I mean, you are an American coming here. I mean, you're not an African in the same way. Like, you're an American. So there's things that you need to understand. There's differences and things that you may be used to that you got to get, or things that you're not used to that you got to assimilate to, and then other things that may not be a good fit. Well, keep doing your thing, leading the trail for a lot of Black Americans. People like Culebra are the minority and do not reflect the real opinions of Kenyans. Yeah, I've never had this experience in real life. So, you know, it is what it is. It's unfortunate because they're just like literally brainwashed for some reason, but it's whatever. You know, when people act like that, I was like, dang, their life must be kind of hard and they're just bitter about everything. So, and I think Black Americans are an easy target because, again, they would never say that to some white people, but they'll say it to us, you know.
Longer. You might say, that's nothing to me. It's going to be something to you. If you're not used to it. Yes, but if you come with the mindset, okay, I'll deal with that, then you'll be okay. If you come in trying to do these American ways, nah, you ain't gonna last.
It might cause you stress, anxiety, and frustration. So we hope this video helps you to kind of prepare for your move to Kenya. This is not so much visitors and tourists, but it's more so those of you who are considering moving here and actually living in Kenya and integrating. And this is just Nairobi we're talking about. Like, if you talk about moving even further out, then really pack your patience when you're coming here to live. Well, we thank you guys for watching today. Make sure you hit the like button.
You guys should go subscribe because they are awesome. And if you're thinking about relocating or spending any significant time here in Kenya, I think you should watch all their videos because it's very helpful. And I think they articulate it well, especially as a couple living out here, just doing day-to-day things. It's important to understand, you know. So, guys, it's been an interesting one. I always love when the brainwash people come in and start complaining. That's always fun. Join the membership. There's a lot of videos in there, and the support is always welcome. There's about 13 or 12 videos, and I'm going to be putting one in members only right after I get off of this, after I find a new Airbnb, because I got to move out of here now. And hopefully, I don't think next live on Sunday I'll be in my new spot, but the week after I will be. It's taken much longer than expected, but I'll have content coming out with the interior designer. I'll probably share all the cost of everything, furnishing it from head to toe. That probably doesn't make sense, but basically everything that we have to purchase and the process and whatever I could share, I'll be sharing that. Next Sunday, I might have possession of a vehicle and I'll be learning to drive out here. When we're in Uber, I pay a lot of attention, try to learn from the passenger. So we'll see. Yep, very much xenophobic. Did you go? Oh my goodness, I wanted to go to the Chan so bad. So many people told me not to go because it was going to be crazy. And I literally was about to buy the tickets. I didn't buy the tickets to the first game, to the DRC game, and then it sold out. I was like, dang. And they're very affordable, the silver level tickets, because apparently the VIP ones are all taken away for like actual VIPs. So yeah, yeah, I'm excited to see the decorations and the design and everything as well. Appreciate you, Prince Travels, MH. Thanks for hanging with me. Let's see what Plano has to say. He's another one of these guys. The thing is, why can't they just be happy the way they are? No need to wear a bracelet or force into the culture. Okay. Shay Star, what's going on, man? Did you get a AC unit? No, I don't think it's necessary at all. I might, if I have some extra money. It's very affordable. I think it's cheaper than doing it in the US. So I might just do it just for GP, just in case. But I never had a problem with it. But I get why people want air conditioning. But this is one of these things, like when it's hot, get used to being a little hot. I don't know. It's like a privilege thing. I don't know. I like roughing it to some degree. But they are pretty affordable, those units. What else do we have? Go watch the Tigoni video. Arvin said something that was very impactful to me, where the farmers were talking about, even someone that's like living outside or picking the farm or really doesn't have a lot, they do own land somewhere. And then Arvin said, yeah, everyone comes from somewhere. I was like, dang, that's very profound. And I kind of understand where, like, if you look at the comments of that video, there's a lot of like talk about the land and the land sensitivity, which I'm definitely understanding more, especially looking at a lot of the history and things that happened during the independence period. Super interesting stuff. But yeah, everyone comes from somewhere, but not just comes from somewhere, but like ancestrally, your family has had land there for hundreds or thousands of years. It's pretty crazy. Does purchasing a home in Kenya grant you an investor resident visa? I don't think so. I think you need the 100K liquid for, I think it's the Schedule K residency. I don't think assets count. Yeah, he's talking about the Senegalese and Francophone Africa, as if you don't see what Traore's doing out there. Crazy. Like the French have been nice to Africa. What? I don't think Kenyans have problems with South Sudanese. Please tell us the cost. Yep, I'll give you guys all the cost. Should I go to Chan? Because they were like, oh, someone will snatch your stuff. You'll get too much attention. You'll stand out. It might not be good for you. So I don't know. They scared me out of it. The summer is actually cold in Kenya. Well, it's winter. It's opposite. Heating floors. Yeah, I mean, it is nice. I think radiant heat in the floor would be cool. Because you could do a solar, you could do like a solar heated radiant flooring. That would be very efficient. May do a stream about investment opportunities for Kenyans in the US. See, that's the thing. Like, do it. I don't care. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen AMG Realtors? They're selling land in Texas. Yeah. See, this guy's just not that smart. I'm saying the same thing you're saying. You think I don't get it. I don't know what, like, this guy is just ridiculous. Like you know what? Like I guess if you're just not that smart, when you like think you know something, you just really want to like hammer it in, you know? So, what other content? Oh, so dang, there's a lot of content that I shot that I haven't edited, but the one coming out in the next couple hours is Blossoms Ivy, and I thought that the build quality there was the best I've seen so far. I don't even think you would have grout issues too much. Maybe a little bit, but a lot better. So that's coming out. I was thinking about what members only videos I should make. And I was trying to record one, but then I was like, I don't want to say that. They deserve nothing from you. Oh, Lord. I wonder what their interest is in like just hanging out in here. I guess because we acknowledge them, that someone's finally paying attention to them and they're really happy about it. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. But okay, it is 10 o'clock here. Oh, who are the developers? I'm looking for 1 and 2 beds. All the 1 and 2 beds there are sold out. I would say, oh, is Pandora's 2 beds sold out? I like Pandora a lot. Diplomat 2 beds definitely is available. A little pricey because of Westlands. I still haven't gotten into any Hoskets. Oh, so Hoskets, they basically just didn't respond. So I was like, yo, I'd like to come check out the properties, but I do videos. And they're like, let me ask the marketing team. And then they never got back to me. And I actually, the one in Killer Leishwa, Enrogue, I was actually interested in that one, like even for not content, I wanted to look at it. And I just wanted to see that their build quality, because people ask me about it and I need to at least see it, even if I don't do content about it. But it kind of like, no one responded. And then I followed up. I was like, hey, what's going on? And the guy never responded. And it's like, okay, well, I'll take a hint then. We need some personal private life stuff. Well, if you guys notice, I have a different camera angle today, and there's a reason why. Diplomat, I don't like the sales team. You don't like the sales team at Wonder Properties? Why? Talk to Esther Cheggy. But this goes to the response thing. I think they all respond slow. You know? But hopefully, I'm hoping to get the vehicle this week so I can, because I'm desperately waiting to move into the apartment. And at least I can take some time and learn how to drive here on the opposite side and preoccupy some of my time with that. And then, guys, when I have a vehicle, I'm about to do everything, because the Uber is very discouraging sometimes, because you're paying more every stop that you make. Then you got to deal with the friction of getting the Uber every time. It's just very, very, very annoying. That Jerry or Terry Chinese lady. What? I don't know that person. Talk to Esther Cheggy. I could give you her number, and she'll be a lot better. I will say the response time is still a little slow. I don't know. The only Chinese lady that I deal with there is Bella, and she's really nice. I met her in person. They need to improve on communication. It's just the thing here, man. People just on their own time a little bit. Even when they try to make money, like you're in commissions and you're not answering that fast, that's crazy. But yeah, if you need the information, especially if you're in the members, send me a message that you're in membership on Instagram if you have Instagram, because that's a good way to get in touch with me. And then I could give you my WhatsApp or whatever. If you want to get in, because I do know, like, if you like only you, I know Stacy, she's pretty good. Like some of the salespeople I spend a lot of time with now at this point. So if you need a referral or something, maybe I'll get you somebody better. But I really do like Wonder Properties, and I really like the Diplomat. I do Emerald Springs. That video's coming out. I'll just say that the renderings and the finished product look exactly the same. So, and I've seen some of that developers work prior as well. It's really good. And what they're advertising is what you get, which I respect a lot from them. Marble West is across the street, like literally across the street and like 2 lots over. They don't have a show house yet, but it's in the same location. So if you like that location specifically, like Diplomat, Emerald Springs, Marble West, and 1870 are all close to each other in that same location. So if you like that location, it's worth looking at. We got to look at more Killer Leasehold property because I think Killer Leasehold is my favorite overall. But for an investment, I still say Westlands is better. So there's not a lot of things going on in Lavington. Actually, I looked at Symphony, but they don't have a show house, which really is Lavington, but really it's right by Junction, Riara 1. There's a couple of them over there, but that's not like real Lavington to me. But Killer Leasehold, there's not a lot of projects going on. Yeah, Emerald's out. I'm waiting on their project announcement too. I want to do content on that. Hopefully I could get an invite to the groundbreaking. I was also at like this expo at Village Market for like home goods, and they had like a real estate panel. I missed the panel because I didn't know what time the panel conversation was. I would have loved to check that out. I want to start going to some of these events. I know some people. Hopefully I'll get invited to some more of the real estate events and such. More bang for your buck size-wise than Killer Leasehold. Yeah, and the price. So Westlands is always going to be more, but I'll tell you guys, investment Westlands, I'd strongly advocate for it. For personal, I think I like Killer Leasehold the best. Although like the Diplomat, I would probably move there. And I don't know, I might have to grab like another unit over there. I have 2 under contract, but I might do some more. So I don't know. All right, guys, it's been fun. Lots of people in here today. Not that many commenters. Shout out to the haters. Really appreciate you guys for keeping us going, keeping the engagement high, helping to promote the channel with all of your comments, whether they're negative or positive. It helps the algorithm a lot. And I see that you subscribe, so I appreciate it. Even though you're hating, that's all good. And maybe you learned something. Pandora looks hard to beat. Pandora is hard to beat right now. For what I know, that's on the radar. Pandora is very interesting because it could be like GTC type of vibe there. Ryan, you got to Nairobi just after I left. Would have loved to link up, stayed in Killer Leasehold, a great place. Might get an Airbnb and run it from the States. Yeah, man, I'm always down to link up and share notes and meet people. It's always a good time for sure. So yeah, maybe next time I'll be out. I'm leaving October 1 and I'll be back January. And I think I'm staying for 6 months from January. So I'll be here quite a significant amount of time. What I'm probably going to do is only be in places in the summer. So the summer in the US, I'll probably be in the US, and then summer here, I'll be here. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about running it. That's my thoughts. That's what I'll be doing. Okay, we hit 2 hours. Sorry for the issue in the beginning. Hopefully this has been a fun time for everybody. I had a good time. Oh shoot, yeah, I got a lot of work to do and it's late. So I'll see you guys later.